The emotional healing process. So serene, so calm, so perfect. It's just like a beautiful, pure light just entering your heart, and then butterflies fly around and everything is okay. Actually, emotional healing can be pretty ugly. What's up, everyone? My name is Zacharias, and this is Thank You, Universe. And thank you so much for tuning in today, because today we're going to talk about a topic that a lot of people really need to understand about healing emotionally, and that is that healing can be very, very ugly. And a lot of people think of healing as like this white light that just enters your body and everything is pure and perfect and amazing. And there can be moments like that, but the majority of the healing process is actually very ugly, and it can be very painful. Like, think about when you're sick or you have a wound. Like, maybe you have a scab that is healing up, and you had an abrasion in your skin and that scab is healing up. That scab's looking pretty funky. Like, maybe you think it's beautiful, but it could be considered ugly by a lot of people. Or if you're sick and your body is just heaving all sorts of fluids out of all sorts of orifices. Sorry, didn't want to get too graphic, but you're sick and a lot of people think, oh, my body is sick right now and this is so ugly and I feel terrible. But actually, if you think about it, when you are sick and you are throwing up or expelling toxins in whatever way, that is your body working optimally. So when you are sick, that's good. That is part of the health. So it's not that your body is not working properly, your body is working optimally when you are sick. And the same thing can be applied to healing with our emotions. When we don't feel good, when we have anxiety, when we're depressed, that can be part of the process. And a lot of times people can be incredibly hard on themselves because they have a goal. They want to stop being depressed, they want to stop having anxiety, they want to work on their emotional issues, they want to heal from some trauma, and they feel like they need to be perfect. And if they make a single mistake, that means that they're not healing and they're just the same as they ever were, and it's just a big old ugly mess. But actually, your healing can oftentimes look like making some big mistakes. Like maybe if you have an issue you're working on that you want to overcome and you slip back into it, you're like, oh, I'm not healing, this is not what I wanted, this is not the beautiful healing process that I hoped and expected it would be, but that is part of your process. A quote that I really like, and I don't know where it came from, I think it's just kind of out there in the ether, is an optimist is someone who realizes that taking a step forward and taking a step back isn't the end of the world. It's more like a cha-cha. And I love that quote so much because it's so fun and it's so true. Just because you have a hiccup in your healing journey, actually it's not even a hiccup, that's part of the process. Some people think healing has to be linear and they're just going to keep getting better and better and better and it keeps going up. And it's like, no, it's more complicated than that. Life is a pattern. It is a waveform that has its ups and downs. And so on your way up to the healing journey, you might go back down for a little bit. So you might slip into some old habits that you're trying to overcome, or you might talk to some old people that you're trying to get out of your life because you're trying to do better and you're trying to heal and live the life that you truly authentically desire. And then when we slip back into those old patterns of behavior that we're trying to overcome, we really beat ourselves up and we can kind of have this all or nothing thinking, like, oh, if I'm not perfect on my healing journey, if I don't stop having anxiety attacks, if I get depressed again, that means it's not working and I might as well give up and just give in to the darkness and hopelessness and depression. No, you can't expect yourself to be perfect right off the bat. You're in your beautiful life journey and you are overcoming some habits that you have built up. And a habit is something that you've done consistently over a certain period of time, so you can't expect things to change overnight. You have to appreciate the process on your journey and encourage yourself on your healing journey and stop beating yourself up and work on your self-talk, because so many people on their healing journey have toxic self-talk. They're just like, oh, you made a mistake, you're an idiot, you did this horrible, whatever it is, And so when you're trying to do better, you're just doing the best that you can, and then you're trash talking yourself on that journey. And you're saying, oh, look at you, you're failing again, you're doing the same old things that you always did, you're still depressed, you haven't improved at all. But you have improved. For one, you've recognized the problem and you're actually taking steps to work on it, so that is awesome. Honestly, recognizing problems is one of the biggest parts of healing from them, because so many people want to deny the issues that they have and they just want to block it all out and pretend like there isn't a problem, or they're resigned to the problem and they just have this, it's not even acceptance, it's this passive helplessness, this learned helplessness where you feel like things are never going to change. But recognizing a problem is the first step to overcoming it. So if you recognize an issue and actually look at it for what it is, that's the scariest part for a lot of people. So you've already done one of the hardest parts. So you don't need to beat yourself up and say that you're a failure if you slip back into certain behaviors or certain patterns that you're trying to heal from. You're on your path. So just keep going. And realize that the healing process is going to look ugly to you sometimes, and it's not always going to be what you hope it is, and this perfect experience of healing where an angel comes down from the heavens and gives you a pat on the head and then I'm healed and everything's better. No, healing takes emotional work and it takes time, and it is a process. And sometimes healing can look like isolating and shutting yourself in your room for a week or a month or years or however long, and just only coming out to like get some water or eat some snacks or whatever. You're just subsisting for a while and you feel like, oh, I'm not doing anything with my life, I'm a failure, I'm not healing. But part of the healing process is the ugliness of it, and we judge ourselves for that, but we need to realize that there is beauty in ugliness. And I just love that concept, this idea that actually the things that we think are beautiful, they might not be as beautiful as we think that they are, and the things that we think are ugly are actually very beautiful. Like, if I see someone struggling so hard to accomplish a task or to improve themselves or to heal from emotional pain or whatever it might be, to me, that is beautiful. And even though we might be judging ourselves as we're in the middle of a healing process, it's beautiful that we're even trying. Whereas someone who just on the outside, everything looks like it's okay, but on the inside, they're hurting really bad and they're in denial of all these issues and they're just like letting it slide by without trying to heal or improve, maybe that could be considered ugly. And I don't really want to call any of it ugly, but beauty is beautiful and ugliness is beautiful, so learn to accept the ugliness of your healing process. Because healing can actually hurt pretty bad sometimes. Like, if your body is healing from a wound or expelling toxins and you're sore, it's the same way in your emotional body. It's not going to feel good all of the time, and the pain is actually part of the process. Lean into the sharp edges, not away. Embrace that pain that you're going through spiritually, because it is part of the process. And if you're experiencing pain and ugliness on your healing journey, that's good. And that's something that you can take hope in, because it means that you're moving towards somewhere. You are progressing. And it's not just pain that just keeps on hurting you and you don't do anything differently and you just accept this life living passively in pain. No. You take that pain as a lesson and you learn from it, because we don't start healing a lot of times until it hurts us enough, until we feel like it's ugly enough that we're like, whoa, okay, things clearly need to change, something is wrong. And so once it hurts enough, then you learn something from it, and then you start to improve and you continue on your healing journey. But there are these different tiers of healing, and at one tier, you might be stuck at it for a while and you keep experiencing the same pain over and over until you get the lesson. But if you learn to have this mindset that it's okay if the healing process isn't always beautiful and you're doing your best and you're moving forward and working towards something, then you won't get stuck quite as often, because you can accept the pain as part of the process. It is all a part of the process. The ugliness is part of the process. It's just a part of the beautiful life journey that you are on. So learn to understand that it is part of the process and accept the ugliness of it, because the ugliness is actually beautiful. And if you need to ugly cry for a little bit and be depressed and isolate for a little bit, as long as you understand that that is not the end result of your life, that is not all you are, it is part of the process, it's okay. If you gotta ugly cry, go for it. Cry into a pillow until you are so physically unsuitable that you would never want anyone to see you. But it's okay. Actually, when people are crying, I've seen some real beauty when people have released some extreme trauma through crying. And it's just like, yes, you might say they don't look good, they look ugly, but like, who's really gonna say that to someone who just like is cried about some emotional problem that they have that they're working through? It's not ugly, it's part of the process, and it's beautiful, and you are beautiful. So it's okay to be ugly in your healing process, because it's actually beautiful. So I hope you found this video to be helpful to you. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you want to keep getting some more videos. And I will be seeing all of you on the next video. Bye!